everybody, and welcome to our channel Frugal Queen in France, where we share our thrifty, frugal and money saving life with all of you from our home here in France. If you're here for the first time, welcome. I'm Jay. My husband Mike is behind the camera, early retirees in our mid-50s, and we retired and living here in France. So without further ado, let's take a look at what we're going to chat about this week. This week we're going to take a look at the cost of living in France and how much does it cost to live in France. We've made this video before, but it was a while ago. We've had to update this because the cost of living obviously changes. So without further ado, how much does it cost to live in France 2022? We're going to look at is the cost of housing, and I can only speak from personal experience as we've bought a house and we look at house prices that are for sale. Sorry, I can't tell you about renting properties, but the obvious one from that is if you want to rent in a city, it will cost you more than renting in a rural area or a small provincial town. Now, house prices in France. If we look at the median house price in France, it's 212,000 euros, which means 50% of houses cost more than that. The good news is 50% of houses cost less than 212,000 euros. Now, of course, if you want to live by the coast, or in a major city or in a popular area, you will probably be paying the higher part of that, i.e. more than 212,000 euros. But it still goes to show that across France, if you want to look for areas, for example, Creuse or Limousin or central Brittany, for example, or areas a long way from the coast or rural areas, that means there are 50% of the properties in France are less than 212,000 euros. And you may come from a country, as I do, where it's not often to be said that 50% of the properties are less than a certain amount. So, there we go, property prices. Point I'm going to raise is about TV, phone and internet. And let's break that down. Mobile phones, cell phones as some of you call them, are really cheap here. So you buy your mobile phone from the supermarket or wherever you want to buy one from, and then actually paying to use it can be as little as, and a very good package for this may I add, of data and phone calls and texts of 10 euros a month. And I know for some of you around the world, that's a lot less than you're paying. We haven't seen price increases in that yet, crossing our fingers that we won't. We see price increases in many things, but still our mobile phones are still relatively cheap. Then let's talk about our TV package, our home phone and home internet. At the moment, we're paying 25 euros a month for that. I wouldn't say that we have very good internet for that. In fact, I would go so far to say it can be a bit flaky. You could pay that amount of money, and if you're living in a more city, like in a city, for example, you will have better internet. You might have fibre internet, for example, but we don't have that here yet, but it's on the way. We have an internet package that we have to pay for separately on top of that to get 4G, which we pay 20 euros a month. And fingers crossed on that, that hasn't gone up yet either. The next topic is food. Now, food is obviously depend on what you like to eat, the supermarket you want to shop in, the type of lifestyle or diet that you like to follow, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to share what we do. We are meat eaters, we eat cheese, we have dairy products, we buy regular cleaning products, regular shower gel, toilet paper, all of those kind of things. But we do shop in the bargain supermarkets. So we shop in Lidl and we shop in Netto. We buy some products in the regular supermarkets like Leclerc as it's pronounced, and Intermarché. So we spend €100 a week, and I think for that we eat really, really well. That includes all our cleaning products, all our toiletries, 3 meals a day, and dog food. We seldom drink alcohol. It's not that we never drink alcohol. We might have like a bottle of wine on an anniversary or at Christmas or times like that, but we're not regular drinkers. So I couldn't tell you whether it was cheap here or not. I will say to you that I pay on average €6 for a bottle of Prosecco. So I couldn't tell you how much that costs, but I would say on average, we probably spend a little bit more than other people. I'm sure people will tell you, well, I live in France and we spend far, far less than that. But we spend €100 a week on all our food, all our drink, all our teas, coffee, milk, eggs, all our food, feeding our pets, keeping ourselves clean, and cleaning our house. The next one is car insurance. We have a 2016 Renault Kadjar, a very bog standard, very ordinary family car. And we pay €50 a month for our car insurance, or €600 a year. Our next insurance is our home insurance, buildings and contents insurance. We have a 3-bedroom detached house and it's 100 square meters, including the basement. And for that we pay €220 a year. I'm assuming it's low because we live in a rural area. There's little to no crime around here. We don't hear of people getting burgled or needing to have security devices for their home or security cameras for their home. So that's what we pay, €220 a year for home and contents, for the whole buildings and contents insurance. The next thing I'm going to discuss is the cost of health insurance, and here in France it comes in 2 parts. You either have it automatically deducted from your wages if you're an employee, and you just see the final figure, don't you, your take-home pay. But if you're like us and you're self-employed, you hand over every single month 22% of your income, which goes towards something called cotizations or cotizations. And that is what's called a social charge. Now that goes towards paying for healthcare. Not only your own healthcare, but everybody's healthcare. And that also goes towards paying for your pension and any unemployment benefits for if, for example, you're too sick to work or if you're too ill to work. And unemployment benefits here are a percentage of your income. Benefits here, for example, such as, and I shouldn't call it a benefit because you've paid for it, your pension is a percentage of what you've earned. So the more you put in, the more you get out in the end. So 22% of your income goes towards having your carte vitale. So, and then on top of that, we pay, as well as this, we have a mutual insurance. And that isn't as good as it sounds, and let me explain that. Ours is €100 a month, which is a bargain if you've got plenty of doctors and dentists in your area, or if you live as we do in what's the French call a medical desert. People like us have to go an hour away to get to a doctor or dentist. We're not saying that doctors and dentists aren't available. They are, they're just not available locally. So what do we pay for our private medical top-up insurance a month? The two of us, we pay €100 a month, and then we pay 22% of our income, not after profits or anything else, but of turnover, 22% of turnover. And if you're an employee, 22% of that is taken for your healthcare, your benefits, and your pension. The next part of the cost of living, we all have to pay this, is income tax. As a married couple, we are taxed as a married couple. We do one tax return as the two of us on our total income, and that's what we do. Now, we pay 22%, as I've said previously, on everything towards our healthcare. But as a married couple, we have a tax allowance of €9,000 each a year. So of our total household income, 18,000 of that, we have zero tax on that, zero tax on it. And the tax bracket that we're in, which is the lower tax bracket, everything over 18,000, we pay 14% of that in tax. So that's our income tax. The next thing that we all have to pay for are property taxes. There is one tax on our property that's called a taxe foncière, and we pay a certain amount. I could share that amount with you, but every single property in France is different. It's different because different regions charge different amounts, different local councils charge different amounts. Some of them include rubbish and recycling, some of them don't. So ours doesn't include refuse and recycling. So our total tax bill for three things: taxe d'habitation, tax of habitation, which we only pay the TV license part. The second tax, which is for recycling and our rubbish collection. And the third part of our tax, which is because of the size of the property and how much our local councils charge us here. The sum total of those three for us and where we live in this village in Department 29 is €600 a year. Our next cost is our water bill. Now, our water bill for last year was €360 a year. We are low water users. We are not on the mains system for water disposal or sewerage. We have our own septic tank system here. So we pay less because of that. If we were on the main system, it would probably be double that. So you will obviously pay more if there are more people in your house, if you have a swimming pool, or if you are high users of water. But ours was €360 for the year. Our next cost is electricity. We have a 3-bedroom house. So this bill is simply for lighting, cooking, and heating our water. We very seldom use our tumble dryer, but we do use our washing machine, and we have a dishwasher. and our total consumption last year was just slightly under €1,000 for the year. I may add an awful lot of that is for tax, but that's with Electricité de France and other electricity companies as well. And lots of that money goes back into investment, into energy production and the electrical infrastructure across the country. But that's what we paid in a year, just under €1,000 for our electricity for our house. The next thing that we pay for is the cost of heating. Now, at the moment, we are burning our own wood from all the trees that have fallen down on our land, that were cleared, piled up, we're cutting them up, and we are slowly burning them bit by bit. And in France, you buy wood by the cord, which is 3 cubic meters. And we worked out that if we were to buy the wood that we've paid for ourselves on average prices for our area to heat our 3-bedroom house with wood in the way that we heat our house would cost us €800 a year. And in speaking to people who have oil tanks and gas tanks, who are buying oil or buying gas, they are paying in the region of €1,500 to €2,000 a year to heat their homes. The next topic is going to be car fuel. I may add, we're retired, we don't go very far, we have a few day trips out a month, but we are paying €1.70 a litre for fuel. It did go up recently to more than €2 a litre, but it was only a short peak and it came back down again. So we spend on average about €50 a month. But throughout my research and talking to people who do go to work each week, each day and each week, that on average people are paying about €50 a week for their go-to-work transport cost for their cars. One that I'm going to add to this, and that is the cost of entertainment, the costs of eating out in particular. Now, I live in a village that is full of places to eat. It's full of bars and eateries and restaurants, and by looking around at those and other towns as well and asking people, you can still eat out a 3-course lunch, often including wine, for €12 to €15 per head. So there you go. If you want to eat out, you can still do so very affordably. I hope you found that interesting. Was there anything that surprised you? Was there anything that you thought, ooh, that's high? Is there anything that you thought, well, that was a really good price? Let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, go on, give it a like. And I would ask you, if you're not a subscriber, why not? Join the Frugal family and become a subscriber. Just leaves me to say on behalf of Mike and I, thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. Say hello, Mary. This is Mary.